Today, we're diving into a really powerful story by Hanan Habashi called L for Life. It's a pretty personal journey through memory and loss, and it's all framed as a letter from a daughter to the father who was taken from her 11 years earlier. Let's get into it. Right from the start, the story hits you with this line from the narrator, Miriam, writing to her father, who she calls Baba. It just sets this incredibly bittersweet tone, right? She's basically saying that it's the sorrow, the loss, that makes us feel the need to reach out to the people who are gone. So this whole story is told through this one letter. Mariam's a young woman now, and she's still dealing with what she calls the awful beast of losing her dad. This letter is her way of trying to reconnect with him and maybe, just maybe, find an answer to a question that's been haunting her since she was a little girl. So let's step into Mariam's world. We're about to see how one single, fragmented memory of her father has really become the driving force behind her search for answers. Mariam paints this really vivid picture of her life in Gaza. She says it's frustrating, a good exercise in patience, where even simple things we take for granted, like good, clean air, are a luxury. And this tough reality is the backdrop for her very personal, internal journey. Her own bedroom is like a time capsule of that trauma. There's a tiny mark from a gunshot on the wall, a physical, constant reminder of the night he was taken. She remembers a faceless monster grabbing her father from her bed, right in the middle of a bedtime story. And it's that story, the one he never finished, that she just can't let go of. And we're not talking about just any story. It's the story of a boy named Thayer. For Mariam, finding out how it ends has become an obsession, almost a way for her to reclaim a piece of what she lost that night. So who is this Thayer? Well, to Mariam, he is way more than just a character. He was one of her father's heroes. Her dad told her that Thayer was a boy who lost absolutely everything, but, and this is the important part, he never lost faith in life. So in a way, Thayer is the embodiment of the resilience her father so deeply admired. This is all she has left of it, just these little broken pieces. Okay, so Thayer is an orphan, and he's planting olive seedlings. Then his friend, Amal, is incredibly sick. So Thayer, the hero, goes to find a doctor. And that's it. As she puts it, hell on earth. And then you are no more. The real world violently interrupted the story, leaving her with this painful cliffhanger for over a decade. You can see that finishing Thayer's story is really all about processing her father's death. She says just thinking about it is exhausting, and you can feel that weight. But the fear of letting this last, tiny connection to him just fade away, well, that's what keeps pushing her forward. But finding that ending is not going to be easy. Miriam's surrounded by family members who have, built these huge emotional walls around their grief. And when she tries to get answers, she just smacks right into those walls. She asks her mother, her dad's soulmate, and her mom just pretends not to know, asking, "Who's there?" which is just brutal. Then she goes to her grandfather, and he gives her an answer, but it's one filled with pure cynicism and hopelessness. This is the ending her grandfather gives her. It's so bleak. He's basically saying Thayer gave up and died. But you realize he's not really talking about Thayer, is he? He's projecting his own grief. He lost his son, and with him, he lost his belief in fighting for a happy ending. Miriam isn't willing to accept either of those endings. Not the denial, not the despair. So she turns to the one last person she thinks she can trust, her Auntie Karma. So she seeks out her aunt, who's a teacher. And this is key. She taught both Mariam and her father. That makes her this incredible bridge to her father's past, to his values. Mariam figures if anyone in the world knows the real story, it has to be her. Her Auntie Karama had once taught them this lesson that her father absolutely loved. It's an acrostic for the word Palestine. But look at the words. It reframes a name so often tied to conflict into a list of life-affirming ideas. Passion, aspiration, life. This was the exact worldview her father lived by. So after Mariam explains her entire quest, her aunt doesn't just give her an answer in words. Instead, she says this: the search for the ending is about to become a real, physical journey. It's like the answer isn't something you can just be told, it's something you have to be shown. And so they go to this special place, and it's there that Mariam finally discovers the true living conclusion to her father's unfinished story. But at first, the destination seems like the total opposite of an answer. It's just the ruins of a burned-down house. Mariam is just confused and speechless. All she sees is destruction. It feels like yet another dead end. Mariam finally asks her aunt the question that we're all thinking. How on earth can this ruin, this symbol of loss, possibly hold the ending to a story about a boy who never, ever lost faith in life? And her aunt tells her to open her eyes, to look past the burned house. And that's when she sees it. Standing all by itself, in the middle of all that devastation, is a single, thriving olive tree. And that's the answer. In that one moment, it all clicks for Mariam. There's seeds, the olive seedlings he planted. They grew. The story didn't end with him running for a doctor. It continued in the life that he planted. The ending wasn't an event, it was this tree, a symbol of resilience, of survival, of a new chance growing right out of the ruins. And for her, that is enough. Mariam's journey leaves all of us with this really powerful question. It suggests that sometimes when a story is violently cut short, the point isn't to try and write a neat and tidy conclusion. Maybe the real work is learning to find the life that continues to grow in the spaces left behind by absence, just like that single olive tree.